meetings and the last two meetings. I know she's not here tonight. She probably hears me somewhere, but I would like to thank Suzanne for that work. So, Suzanne, thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee El Shabazz.
Here.
Trustee Fisher.
Here.
Trustee Freed.
Here.
Trustee Hatch.
Here.
Trustee Renner.
Here. Thank you. Please stand with me. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oops.
250 years.
Tonight, we do not have awards and proclamation. And next on our agenda would be the consideration of the minutes of a May 27, 2026 Village Board meeting. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Thank you. Are there changes to these minutes?
No.
I do not see any. It is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
No one opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next is our non-agenda items and visitors. The Village President and Board of Trustees allocate 15 minutes for those individuals who would like the opportunity to address the Village Board of Trustees on any matter not listed on the agenda. Each person addressing the Village Board of Trustees is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. And the Village Board very much values public comments, and to the extent your public comment is a question or requires further investigation, Village staff will follow up with you outside of this meeting. Time for non-agenda public comments is not intended to be a question and answer session or for board deliberations, but the board may, at its discretion, choose to answer questions and discuss non-agenda items. We appreciate your understanding and we look forward to your comments. Do we have comments tonight here? And I do not see any. Do we have anything online?
Anyone participating in tonight's meeting through the Zoom wanting to make comments on things that are not on tonight's agenda, now is the time to raise your hand and be recognized. No one.
Thank you. Next is our Village Board setting the order of a meeting. The Village President and Board of Trustees will entertain requests from anyone present on the order of business to be conducted during this Village Board meeting. So I understand item 12. Mm-hmm. Do we have any more items to be set first? Without objections, moving to 12.
You can do 12 followed by 8A.
8A. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Without objections, moving to 12. 12 is a resolution honoring the public service of police records clerk Jason Mount. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And I would like to invite Jason to join me. And this is a resolution honoring the public service of Jason Mount. Whereas Jason Mount has faithfully, honorably, and professionally served the residents of the village of Lake Bluff for 25 years. And as a member of the Lake Bluff Police Department, beginning his distinguished career on May 30, 2001. And whereas Jason Mount began his service with the department as a telecommunicator and, following the department's transition to consolidated dispatch services in 2014, successfully adapted to a record specialist role, demonstrating flexibility, professionalism, and a steadfast commitment to meeting the evolving needs of the department and the community. And whereas, through his tenure, Jason Mount has performed his duties with exceptional dedication, integrity, and professionalism, while contributing significantly to department operations through the training and mentorship of civilian personnel, and by serving in a variety of specialized roles, including leads, agency coordinator, child safety, seat inspector. Who did that in my kid's car, by the way? I did. It took time. So, there were 2 cars. Summer crossing guards program administrator and crime reporting coordinator. Whereas Jason Mount has further demonstrated his commitment to public safety through his long-standing service as a member of a Lake County Incident Management Team, providing critical support during emergency and special event operations through the region. And whereas Jason Mount has exemplified selfless public service through his support of numerous community initiatives and charitable organizations, including Special Olympics Illinois, and through his unwavering willingness to assist fellow employees, law enforcement partners, and the residents of the village of Lake Bluff. And whereas the dedication, professionalism, leadership, and exemplary character demonstrated by Jason through his career have earned the admiration, respect, and gratitude of his colleagues, village officials, and the community he has faithfully served. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the village president and board of trustees of the village of Lake Bluff, Lake County, Illinois, as follows. Section 1. The village of Lake Bluff hereby expresses its sincere gratitude and appreciation to Jason for his outstanding service, dedication, and significant contributions to the village, the police department, and the residents he has faithfully served through his 24-year career. Section 2. The village president and board of trustees publicly recognize and commend Jason for his many years of exemplary public service. Section 3. This resolution shall be entered into the official records and minutes of the village of Lake Bluff, and an executed copy shall be presented to Jason as a lasting expression of the village appreciations, gratitude, and esteem. Congratulations. Thank you. 24 years is amazing. So thank you very much.
25.
No, just mark them out.
Next, can I please, we need to vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And the motion carries. Congratulations, Jason. Next item is item 8A, the village administrator's report. Drew?
I won't reread the memo to everyone, but about a year ago, the ABR started working on the design for the new bridge that's part of the Green Bay Road and Bridge Replacement Project. And Jeff Hansen's here, along with the chair of the Architectural Board of Review, Bob Hunter, who started a year ago on this design. It was, I would call it a slow jog, and spent the last 45 days sprinting. And most of that is given the limited window of time when there was actually funding available to support the design of the bridge. And we have a lot of hurdles to get through to get final so that we can stay on time with this project. But give me a minute, I will bring up the designs in your project, and Jeff will walk us through it. And I know that our engineers are also participating via Zoom.
Yep.
Question.
Yep, Dan from Baxter Woodman, I think, is on Zoom. His job is to raise his hand if I say something that's wrong. So hopefully We don't do that. We spent 3 nights with the ABR in the last 30-some days going through this, so it really was a good process, and was a sprint here at the end, but each time they gave notes, our consultant went back, revised the drawings, we came back, we did that, like I said, 3 times. I think we got to a place where the ABR was happy. It was very good meetings. I think every member of the ABR had something to contribute, so we're glad to bring this to you tonight, and hopefully moving forward, we are still planning on February starting construction. So we are in a sprint now on the design side. Most of that's because our engineering is partially funded by the state through federal money, and we can't start spending that money and get reimbursed until they approve the phase 1 and then approve the contract with the engineering company to do phase 2, and IDOT moves at the pace of IDOT. So we're it's a lot of waiting and then a lot of sprinting alternately. So if you will remember, we do have the bridge you see there, the existing bridge. You previously approved an agreement with IDOT that we would do a roadside exhibit to honor the memory of the old bridge when it's done. So I think Drew, most of these first few slides are just kind of the location and some of the background of the old bridge. So you see the bridge is a little, it's not perpendicular to the railroad, so that is a design consideration, makes the fence a little longer to make it match on each side, but the wooden planks will be gone. The road work will be done next year with it to get rebuilt. The same road width, wider sidewalk, all these structural members. The ones that we are not reusing with the roadside exhibit will be stored at Public Works for 10 years minimum per our agreement with the state to see if there is a adaptive reuse for them at some point in the future. If you recall, the way this bridge was reconstructed in the 80s, these trusses are not salvageable in their current form. The bottom of them is embedded in concrete. We did not want to have to chip them out of the concrete, so they're going to get cut out, and then we'll save what we can save. And that is, that's the text of our agreement, our understanding with the State Historical Preservation Office on what we're going to do things. This slide just again shows out the layout of the bridge. It's like 140 feet is what the railroad right-of-way is. So the walled section, it's 170 feet when you want to make it match each side because it is skewed to the railroad. And then you see the guardrails at the bottom. There's really no options with the guardrail. So this is what the ABR and our consultants have come up with for the design of the bridge. The wall is 3.5 feet tall. It says 10-foot high fence, but really the overall dimension is 10 feet, so that the fence portion is 6.5 feet. The bottom and the columns, that's all a concrete form liner. So that's all poured concrete with a pattern attached to it to give it the texture of the rock. And when we get to the point closer to construction, we'll actually be able to pick out some coloring for the stones. They actually go back and they stain the stones individually after they pour it. So the top cap and the thing that looks like natural stone, that's all poured concrete, and they come back and color it. Black fence with, what do you call them on the top? They're basically spears on the top. You see in the upper right, that's the stone pattern that will be the base. Like I said, there will be some coloration that we'll bring back probably to the ABR. The lamp, the top middle of this slide was picked out by one of the ABR members, used elsewhere to go on the posts. Again, trying to salvage at least the tag from the old bridge, put it into the new bridge with a little plaque talking about it. The old historic members will all be gone. It'll just be this design for the bridge. The 10 feet is a railroad. You must have 10 feet. Their thought process is to keep snow from falling down onto the tracks, which I don't know what snowplow would hit this and shoot snow more than 6 feet in the air, but we don't really want to go 10 feet with the fence, but we don't have a choice. We want to get it approved in a timely fashion.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? It's to prevent the snow?
Snow plow from flying over into...
Snow or the snow plow?
Snow.
Snow.
Snow is how it's been
But it won't
explained.
go through the fence?
They are a maximum of 2 inches or so apart, and that's supposed to stop big chunks from falling onto the tracks.
Thank you.
We started this design, Jeff, with the idea that it should have matched the bridge on Moffett. I mean, we were pretty far away from that concept.
We are, and that's where we kind of started with the ABR 3 meetings ago with the Moffett Road railing and then almost like a fence behind it. And I think the thought was that looks too much like a cage or a fence when you have to get that height. So that was the iterative process of the design was, we don't really think we're comfortable with that, or at least the ABR wasn't. So they went back to, this is, there's a bridge, I forget what street it is in Waukegan, Drew, but they made one that kind of was the base of this, and then our ABR, I think they made it quite a bit better with some of their design input.
Elevated it.
It was something that they could at least see a form that was acceptable to the railroad and then try to make it better. And that's how
Then I
we
need to
ended up
mention
here.
that because nobody else is going to do that, but those lights are not night sky lights.
I was about to ask.
Sorry.
I can't say they are or not. They're very dim though. And the idea here was the lighting would be just a soft glow.
You guys might have a conversation with Michael trying to say, well, it should cover and so.
There's also, and it doesn't show up well here, there's a thought there would be a kind of a, I don't want to call it a rope light, but some small lighting underneath the cap, just to kind of light up where the edge of the sidewalk is, because there is no street lighting on the bridge in that 170 feet, just to guide people as to where they are in the dark, because we'll have a dark sky everywhere else. You won't be able to see the bridge from any other light solution by then. So that is the basic bridge design, and there was significant debate on the roadside exhibit. There really isn't a lot of right-of-way around Green Bay Road, a place to put something where anybody would want to stop and, I guess, contemplate what used to be there. So we went through some different options, and our consultants had said, well, it really doesn't need to be exactly on that spot. So kind of opened up the world as to maybe where else could it go. And after some debate, we kind of landed on this spot here where the trails come together west of Green Bay Road along 176. There's that little nose where the upper trail from the crosswalk meets the lower trail that went under the tunnel. And we think we can do something there. And if this board likes it and the ABR liked it, then we feel pretty good about sending that into the state and having them sign off on it with that approval. So basically involves making an area with a bench, which is the same bench we have up here that we put in a couple of years ago by the cross from the middle school almost where the trail crosses. And that says the granite chips there. Still looking at that, I'm not sure if that needs to be concrete or granite. If drainage flows through there, it'll wash the granite out. So we'll see what we end up on that. But yeah, the consultant was able to put together some nice perspectives of what that might look like. And it just looks like a pit stop along the trail to sit down for a little bit on a bench. And there'll be a plaque with some history on the bridge and that one salvage member on the pedestal, trying to keep it low maintenance. Just a little place to see along the trail.
And the bench, as Jeff pointed, is the same, he pointed out, it's the same style as the one that is at the bike repair station on the McClory Trail. It's also the same design that is at the Glen Avenue Footbridge, and it'll be the same design that's at the soon-to-be reinstalled dance statue at
Train station. Yep.
The gravel there mix is the same mix that's at the Glen Avenue footbridge, and it will be the same that's at the train station as well. So uniformity in materials for maintenance purposes. The idea to place it here is this is, you know, the bed of the former Skokie Swift. It's right along 176. It's pedestrians, cyclists, and salute to the bridge. So all modes of transit kind of can meet in this general vicinity of the village, and that was the idea that when we made the pledge to the SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Agency, and IDOT about that we would have some sort of memorialization of the former bridge in the site, that this was the idea to really celebrate all modes of transit, and that was a good geographic location for that purpose.
So if you have any questions or comments, we'd like to move forward with the design to keep our schedule. So if anything we can incorporate, here for that.
Regis, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Can you approximate the
pedestrian traffic difference between the Moffett Bridge and this bridge on a normal Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday?
I have never seen, maybe I've seen two people walk over the Green Bay Road Bridge. You know, it's very low traffic
Okay.
in that area. I know there are some people, because I've talked to people in Bath and Tennis that are going to get cut off when we redo the bridge.
Sure.
About their kids using it to go back and forth, but would have to think it's, you know, maybe 8-10 to 1,
Okay.
the Moffett Road Bridge.
I think one of the reasons I'm asking is obviously the noticeable guardrails are gone from the existing bridge today to this new design. And obviously, there's a big difference in car traffic between the two bridges.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering what considerations you guys made to get rid of those kind of safety rails. They're not guardrails, but
They
to
are, I mean, they
separate-
are guardrails.
Okay.
And this is where our consultant has stepped in and they have said, you know, this is the standard way to build a bridge here. If we tried to build something that would separate the pedestrians from the cars, it would widen the bridge even more. And we're kind of at the practical limitation of the piers of the bridge. And also, with it being a little skewed to the railroad tracks, we are in their clear zone slightly. Any voluntary expansion of how much we're in their clear zone, which would be if we widened it, might trigger them to flag this as a problem. But that was a big discussion also with the ABR. I think the answer was just this is normal bridge construction, and that the standard is not to have it separated in that way.
Is the sidewalk on the bridge like a standard sized sidewalk, or is it more narrow?
No, it's standard. So that's where we are widening, because right now it is narrower, and you're to get between the iron trusses to walk, so it'll be a full 5-foot wide
Right.
sidewalk when we're done.
Are there sidewalks on both sides of the street?
There are.
On both north and south of the bridge?
No.
Yes.
No. Really?
Yeah, but the one on the north, no, on the
It
on the other
stops at
side
some
stops
point.
really soon.
Okay. Thank you.
As you
Yeah.
see it right
Yeah.
here.
I have a question too. To continue this discussion on the safety aspect of that pedestrian walkway, two questions. You talked about the snow plows coming through. Remind me again who's responsible for plowing that area, that bridge, and who does this?
We plow it. It's our bridge, and
And
it
who
will be more
will be
difficult.
responsible for clearing the pedestrian path during snow events?
We do. So it will be more difficult because that wall is there, and we're going to plow it into the wall. And there is normally a delay when we plow the street versus we come out with a sidewalk plow. I've talked with Public Works. They said this will be harder. I just don't really have a choice if we're going to rebuild it with the funding we have.
Yeah, it seems to me that, given the proximity to the street, this might be one of the priorities when you do go out to do pedestrian walkways, would be the bridge. The other thing I was wondering, and again, I'm not a civil engineer, but I work in the business, while we can't do guardrails, you go back to the picture of the walkway,
Existing or future?
the new future, there's a picture of them standing, there we go. Is there any way to, on that concrete, because there's a curb, right? There's a,
It's I mean, it's not technically a curb, but the sidewalk would be 6 inches above the roadway.
6 inches. Is there any way that a lip could be put to extend up a few inches? And the reason I'm saying that is that I have seen kids bicycle up and down, and if they, kids going back and forth and they slip into traffic, if there was even just like a 2-inch above the sidewalk, something, I'm just making the suggestion, I know that narrows the width of the sidewalk, something like to keep bumper carts, let's use a sport term, to keep them from veering off onto the, sliding down to the road. I'm just worried about that.
You kind of run into a situation where you almost have to do, you don't need the steel railing like under the viaduct, but you would need that big wall because just a couple inches is actually more of a trip hazard than anything else. So if you make something that's not completely visible to people as they're walking, when you transition, like say in a parking lot from a handicap stall to not, and you go from flush curb to 6 inches of curb, generally you want to paint that yellow or you want to do it very quickly because the eye doesn't perceive something like that when you're walking. That can be more dangerous than having it flat. So there is it's hard to go small when you want to do some kind of barrier. It either has to be big, and there is an issue that might keep people out. It also, though, may, the wall is designed is for crash protection. Anything you put, maybe some kind of screen or very small thing, might make people think they're safe, but a car would easily, there's nothing that's gonna be,
Yeah, I'm not necessarily worried about it.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I am worried about a car if it's only 6 inches off the roadway, veering up and hitting someone. That's all. I'm more also worried that people with strollers or dogs or 4-year-old on a bike, ahead of their
Mm-hmm.
parents, and he just slides off into the, goes off into the street because there's no guardrail for sure.
Physical
but there's
barrier, yeah.
nothing to keep him on the sidewalk. Again, you guys are the experts, but it feels wrong to me.
It feels like an opportunity
Yeah,
to add some safety, something.
I don't know what that would be, but
Trying to see if we have I can check in with them again if there is a way maybe to widen the sidewalk a little bit and make it a little more than 5 feet without going to, I think 7 is too far because we run out of right-of-way pretty quickly.
I mean, you think about all the sidewalks that we have in town, none of them are like right up against a major road.
Yeah, the other one is Moffett Road.
Well,
Is that-
yeah,
Right here in town.
yeah, and then, I don't know, it just makes me nervous.
Jeff, does the 41176 plan bridge would have the same design? I know this is-
4176, like the bike trail is its
To the
own
south,
bridge
separate,
to the
dedicated,
side, so that is 8 foot or 10 foot wide and completely separate. It's its own structure.
But on the north
I
side?
can't remember what they would have for a sidewalk there, but again, this is kind of a standard. I know there are other roads that are busier than Green Bay Road that have that.
I have promoted Dan and
Good evening, everybody.
There he is, yep.
The one thing that I wanted to add,
Dan, would you please introduce
Bridges.
yourself? Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm Dan Shuggan with Baxter and Woodman. I'm the project manager for the road project and bridge. The one thing that I want to add to Jeff's comment, not only are we widening the bridge for the sidewalk, but there is also going to be a 5-foot shoulder on the bridge that does not exist today. So there's an 11-foot traveled lane and then a 5-foot shoulder before you get to the 5-foot sidewalk. Now, we can't really put a barrier there without providing additional crash protection, but that 5-foot additional shoulder does give quite a bit of buffer room, much more than there is today.
Both sides, is it set with a yellow line, Dan?
Yeah, if you think of a normal road, you've got a double yellow center line, and then you've got 2 traveled lanes, and then you have that white edge line. There will be 5 feet on the outside of that white edge line before you get to the sidewalk.
Okay,
So it is, and that's as wide as we can go on that bridge.
okay. So the cars will be 5 foot away from the edge of the sidewalk, is what you're saying? Is that,
That's correct.
okay. All right.
Thanks for that clarification, Dan.
Can you just remind me of the timing? I know it's been discussed ad nauseum. I just want it back in.
Yeah, everything is, as long as, we have some slight worries with IDOT. We had a meeting last week about how to procure things, but everything is lining up for starting this project in February with the bridge. And that is based on our discussions with the school. They said, please don't go into the next school year, just give us all the pain all at once.
Yeah.
And get it done with. So that is, our schedule is to start in February, be done, at least open to traffic again before school starts in the fall of '27.
Okay.
Okay. That is a common question. That question is a common question. And I always answer that's going to be the summer, but I'm wrong. So it's February to basically August. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Thank you. Any more questions on the board to Jeff? Okay.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Do we have any more comments in the room? Bob, do you want to say a word, or are you okay? Anything you want to add, Bob? I can't hear you. Anything you would like to add to this presentation? as head of
I think
the
it's probably
ABR?
going to need a little, I'm Bob Hunter, by the way, chairman of the ABR since 1979. Anyway, it's going to need a little bit of tweaking. I haven't seen the final version. That just came in today, probably, Friday. But basically, it was trying to put a bunch of parts together that didn't belong together. We were trying to interject and include part of the original bridge into this. And it just was physically impossible. It was structurally impossible. We didn't give up till about halfway through the charrette, which we had a charrette. If anybody knows what a charrette was, it's mayhem until you come up with a solution. And there is not a bad idea, because bad ideas lead to better ideas, and so on and so on and so on. And so we had the engineers here, we had our whole crew here, and everybody left that smiling, saying they have never gone through something like that before, especially the engineers. They were thrilled with it, because they didn't think they were going to get out of this without, more and more meetings. So this was the way to get it done.
Okay.
But it needs a little bit of tweaking now that we see it, but it's enough to go forward with the governing bodies, which there's 3 of.
So from a design standpoint, you might not be quite done, but again, rewording what you just said, this is actually enough to go forward to get with IDOT to get approval.
And when I say tweaking, we got like a 4-foot lantern showing there on those, that's not been picked out. That hasn't been decided on what's going on. Maybe the swoop is a little bit different. But basically, it met all the criteria, which got down to half an inch of dimensions on things.
From a timing perspective, the bridge, there's slightly more flexibility with time. Actually, the most time-sensitive element of this work is the roadside exhibit with that element. That's due July 1, essentially.
Basically
Today. So, he's got an email just to push send on.
Okay.
A lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Any questions to Bob?
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
Working on this.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun doing this kind of stuff, so.
I think it looks great.
I agree. Yeah, I think it looks
Plans
great.
over his house on my bike at 7 o'clock at night, trying to get this done. Yeah, true story. So I'll take that as consensus to move forward as shown. The only other element of my report that I would share is actually, I'm gonna bring Jeff back up here, is to talk about where we are, speaking of Green Bay Road, to talk about the various capital improvements that are going on in the village. I should say several instead of various, but to include Block 1, Deep Tunnel Project, or new stormwater project on Evanston, and then Green Bay Road.
I guess we did the easy one first. The Evanston project is done. They've patched the street, they've planted the grass, so that pipe was in worse shape than we thought, so that's good that that's done. Hopefully that will protect those neighbors if we get a larger rain coming up. In the downtown, you can see it is almost done. There's just plants yet to come and some street furnishings. We are anxiously awaiting an update tomorrow from the contractors for where the schedule is for the rest of those items. And then they've started to work down at the train station on the dancer sculpture. I know they're going to go to Public Works and try to figure out how to reassemble that and truck it down to the train station tomorrow. They're going to figure that out. So I think that should all be pretty well set by the 4th. There's some other plantings over on Oak with that project. And then we are working with the developer of the Block 2 project for the bump outs by the library, similar to the west side of that intersection. Trying to get that done before the 4th as well, working with the Eltonian people.
If you hit the pause button there, if you remember there several months ago, a group of residents who live mostly on North Avenue were coming and asking the village to consider putting a stop sign at that intersection. And the staff did an evaluation of that, and we talked about, let's wait and see what happens after these other improvements are done, because it's going to shorten the distances that pedestrians have to cross with these bump outs. And we said we'd keep an eye on it and let them know once this work takes
Yeah,
place.
it'll make the crossing shorter, and it should give pedestrians a better view because they're starting out from closer to in the road versus having to look past parked cars, especially to the west along Block 2. So that project, they did a nice job getting it this far, getting all the hardscape in before the farmer's market, which I think went well, and the block party this weekend. They had a little minor panic Friday afternoon if we had power for their band, but it turned
Answer
out
was
it was
yes.
on. It was on, so we had that. The deep tunnel phase of construction is 99% complete. There's just a couple little punch list items that, you guys won't even notice. It'll be a guy in a pickup truck cleaning some things up. Grass came in nicely. We got a little rain when we needed it to. We met with people to work on the design of the next phase for next year. So they are moving forward with that pretty quickly as well. And then Green Bay Road has been a little bit of a challenge so far. Our water system is still giving us fits on Green Bay Road. So we've shut a couple people off accidentally. We're learning where the water services are. Turns out it is going to cost more because all the water services on the west side of Green Bay Road are still on the wrong water main. We thought they were on the newer one, but when they put the newer one is almost as old as I am, so it's not that new. But our records weren't very good and led us to believe they were all moved over, but they weren't. So that's about $120,000 to move the last 20 over. And as much as I give IDOT rough about how hard it is to do things with IDOT, in this case, they do pay off because when the contractor says it's $5,800 to do these water services each, IDOT has their full database of, this same item everywhere else, and they check it for us and make sure, because your fear is when you don't have something in the plan that you're going to, not get a good price, but they are the backstop on that. So that has worked out, and we are learning more about which valves work. We had, I forget what day it was, but we tested it out in the morning. Valve worked great. Go back in the afternoon, valve did not work, and we had to shut some more people off that we didn't plan. So we really appreciate most of the residents over there have been very understanding. Our construction engineer, Dave, has been texting and talking with everybody he can. We do miss a couple. There are people who get surprised, which we don't want, but it is hard to notify people because normally those go on your front door and not everybody checks their front door every day. So that's going to push back. We had talked about doing a closure at the bridge basically coming today. They were going to rip out the whole old roadway and put gravel in and keep moving their way north. They put that off 1 week, and it might be a couple more days, but they have to do these water services now. So their water service crew is back, and they're doing the water services to the west side of the street. And actually, they have found quite a few lead ones, so we're getting those out of our system with this project, and that is good as well. But we are looking to have that full closure because they're going to be digging up all the existing pavement and all the existing base south of Witchwood. We believe and we hope that anybody still trying to sneak through from the south will run into that wall, the first day that happens and come back again in December. Because Matt's been fighting with his guys, traffic out there. I know they've had quite a presence on Green Bay Road and in the side streets and working with the neighbors and doing the best they can to dissuade people from coming through. Today, they did mill off all the old asphalt, so Green Bay Road is much rougher than it was, if you can believe that, last week, and I think that will help keep people away too. It looks like more of a construction site, but as soon as they remove all the pavement, have a couple of days where the road's pretty much completely closed, we think a lot of the daily pass-through traffic will find a different route.
In conversations with residents on North Terrace, dust is an issue. Now, people are very accepting of what we're doing because they see that we care, and the communication by Drew and staff is, we try to you guys try to be really exhaustive about what has to happen. Dust is still an issue. Is there any way we can do dust mitigation?
They did start with that. They have a water truck they've used a couple of times. It will get worse as they go to just a gravel road because it will pack dirt in it, and they do own a water truck, and they've had it here to try to control the dust, but it will be a little bit of a reminding them just money out of their pocket every time you make them go get their water truck. But our
We
guys
really
out
appreciate
there,
that. That was basically the main thing we had not addressed as of last Friday.
Yeah, well, I think we got the first concern about that maybe 2 weeks
Weeks
ago.
ago,
And
yeah.
we had the truck out. That was like on a Thursday at night.
the truck was out on
there.
Friday.
Cool. Very
So
cool.
So they are responsive.
Rain
Campanella's been a good company to work with, and we did get a little rain, and this week's gonna get some rain. So I don't know how you order just the right amount of rain to keep the dust down, but let the work happen. But that's the goal. But you get to August, it's gonna get dusty, and they're gonna have to be out there often.
And we do understand, I mean, I do understand, and Drew keeps reminding me that this is a big deal. This is a big job, and we're ripping that road to nothing for a road that is a big road. So this is a hard job on your hands. So I am appreciative. We are appreciative.
It is a big job, and it's actually rarer than I ever imagined to have your very busy street and have these two neighborhoods that only come out onto this one street. I mean, I don't know, Brian, you know this. I mean, there's probably 400 homes in those two neighborhoods, and they got to get through one way or the other, and we're doing our best to communicate which way you can go, but it changes very frequently, so we are trying to update our website as much as we can, but it is hard, if you just want to run to the doctor or wherever to check our website first to see where you can go, but there really isn't a great way to keep that information live.
We've been doing updates probably weekly, sometimes twice a week, depending on, as things happen more rapidly now, there'll be more frequent updates.
Yep.
We're preparing for this next major update, assuming that, again, we've tried to get ahead and stay ahead of our communications on this, is to communicate. I think we did, like last week, we told people this is going to be the week that they're going to be tearing up the road. That turns out it wasn't, so we pushed that communication a week, and we were actually prepared to do a reverse 911 or smart 911 call on Sunday night to let people know, hey, reminder, this is happening. We had to call that off, and so that'll happen next Sunday, presumably, if they do get there, if these water services don't take as long as they think they may. But it's a difficult process, and the village takes great pride in its white glove communication level that we've provided historically, but it's very difficult in projects of this scale to be as accurate as some folks want us to be at the time they want us to be. And so I will tell you all now, we will disappoint some, but I think most will be understanding of what's happening. It is a major reconstruction, and we simply can't tell folks when they hop in their car which way they should go. And it's going to vary in the field based off all the activities of the day, of the hour. So it's difficult to provide that level of direction to folks with certainty.
I have a question. So once the bridge is closed, will it remain closed for the duration of this project? Because I think the biggest complaint that I have been receiving, and I used to live in East Terrace, so my neighbors are reaching out. They're really struggling specifically with the traffic. It's hard for the residents to get out because of so many people cutting through. It's just like, it's kind of mayhem over there. And I think there is an understanding that this is what it is, that we'll continue to address and try to brainstorm and try to reroute. But I think closing off the bridge is going to make a huge difference for the residents.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if it will remain that way, or
That's not the plan. We've kind of committed to the people in the Bath and Tennis area that we're not going to cut them off from the rest of the village any more than we have to. We know they're going to be cut off. This will be much simpler next year. The bridge is out, it's gone, it's closed. No problems with traffic coming through. So we tried to commit to them that we're going to keep the road open to them as much as we can to get through the neighborhoods and out. And the trick is how to make it kind of convenient for residents, but completely inconvenient for non-residents. So we're doing that with signage. We're doing that with some law enforcement to try to see who's local and who's not. But when they come back and they have to dig up the street completely and put gravel back in, starting kind of someplace in front of Stonebridge, and work their way to Witchwood. That'll take about 2 days. They're going to be past Witchwood, and then people will be able to get to Witchwood and get through the East Terrace again, or Thornwood, go through the West Terrace. But ideally, this will permanently change behaviors as it gets more and more of a construction zone. It has been hard because that it's like a half mile long is our construction zone. So people come up to West Center on Green Bay, you don't see any construction. All you see is signs. As we get a little further into it, all you're going to see is construction. So we talked to them about, it's okay to park the machine on the street just so people see it. So we're trying to keep it safe and accessible to the residents on Green Bay Road, but yet make it look more and more like a construction zone. And they're doing the water work first, which is not all that disruptive. It's mostly on the side of the road. But once they rip the whole roadway out and put it back as stone, I think it will dissuade people from trying to get through. And they are gonna, they're gonna start south of Witchwood, but they're gonna end up north of West Center. So there will be a day where East and West Terrace people will have to go to Lake Forest to get around. That
Yeah.
intersection will just be closed. And again, we'll try to limit that as much as we can, but there are probably 5 different construction operations that are gonna impact right there. And we try to give people notice as far in advance as we can, but the further you are in advance, the less reliable that date actually is. And trying to find that happy place where we give good information as early as we can, that's hard.
Yeah.
To your point, Erin, I've stood on Lincoln and Pine, and Pine is especially interesting because towards center, there's about 6 or 7 families that have little kids. And on a normal day, all these little kids are playing everywhere and there are signs, but this is like a playground. And now what you have is, if you stand on Pine especially, you have cars and cars and cars and cars. And that was a week ago. I've been back and there's a lot less today. And I'm actually grateful that you're cutting or trying to break that pattern on the bridge on Green Bay so that we have less cars that are foreign to east and west terraces.
And there's, as Jeff's pointing out, and everybody's obviously aware of, there are trade-offs. So like we had the contractor put barricades on the north limits of the project that more or less obstruct the westbound turn lane for those going northbound on Green Bay Road. Some residents like that because it does effectively block traffic. Others don't because they're trying to go westbound. We did have IDOT add how many seconds to the timer of the track?
10
seconds
to northbound
get
Green.
people- It's not that you can't go left. It's just not as convenient as it was, and the queue's longer. But so we're trying to balance those trade-offs, and sometimes there are some vigilantes moving the signs, and so that happens from time to time,
Interesting.
including our own subcontractors.
Yeah, even today.
So, it's a bit of a moving target, and so trying to get some stability. It's always a work in progress.
And Matt, our police chief, has been tracking the traffic counts on some of these streets week by week, and I'd love to see it 2 weeks from now when we shut everything off for a couple days. We'll know if that worked or didn't work, or if we have to keep doing more. We've had our original signage plan, and we've added to it. We've had our initial speed bump plan, and we've added to that as well. So we're trying to be responsive to problems as they're happening, and
Let me
keep
say
that up.
differently, perhaps, is that, so before the project started, we have technology where we can count cars in the direction and trips, and we started that in different places in East and West Terrace, and we've been collecting data throughout. So the good news is the volumes are going down. They're doing as we'd hope, and it's difficult to know which interventions, whether it's reduced speed limits, the speed humps, more enforcement, the greater construction activity. It's hard to isolate which one of those, and frankly, some of the dates, like some of the slowest dates, happen to be Memorial Day, when people weren't working. So it's hard to track it, but we're watching it, and that's helping us understand. Certainly, we're not going the wrong direction. It's all going in the right direction, but it's hard to figure out which one's putting its thumb on the scale harder than others. But we are trying to rely on real data.
And today being the last day of school, that's going to really change things as well. Might
Yeah.
not be that many less cars, but they should be less concentrated at certain times of day, which hopefully will make it safer.
Since I live in the East Terrace, let me give my opinion. I walk my dog in the morning, usually around 7, and in the evening. We still have a lot of traffic coming through that it's clear that they're coming through to go through to 176, which they're told not to. You can walk this as you're walking down the streets, and the residents tell me, whether I'm talking to Linda or others, it's like, no village sticker, no village sticker, no village sticker, and they're speeding through, and they're going through and up to 176 and out. It seems to me that, that there's ways to, as they go in, someone sits there and says, there's a black SUV, no sticker, and as they come to 176, they get stopped. I don't know, because these cars are coming through, and we know they're speeding because they slam on the brakes before the speed bump, and then they speed again because they're upset that they had to come through these terraces to get to 176. So, the residents are aware what cars are not supposed to be there or what cars are not village residents, and it's frustrating at times.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you, the police have used that, they know, And they've stopped vehicles and have written citations, and we're doing that. There have been directed patrols and overtime shifts already doing that.
Yeah, I know, and we've seen them out there, and with the school done, it's gonna be easier, right? And, except for the baseball games.
Yeah, that actually, great point, because the baseball games,
Down in Malmon.
yeah, and Mommin gets filled up with cars, so that is already, I remember, walking my kids to the park, and it would already be kind of anxious because the cars are going both directions, and there's cars parked in both directions. So I think we will want to be heightened aware of, yeah.
Yeah.
We have instituted no parking on one side of the street in that neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah, and we had the graduation weekend, and there was a whole row of cars on Center along that grassy area with no parking on that side, and then you have the little section of Center at Green Bay that was taped off, so then you narrowed it down to one, and there was at least 12 cars taking up that entire, and I know there was a kids' party there, so we didn't hassle them about it, but it's a choke point, and that's why we put the signs there.
Thank you, Brian.
We'll keep working at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeff, thank you very much.
thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.
Drew, thank you very much for that. And Matt, also, thank you very much for your oversight.
That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Moving forward, or moving backward in this case, moving back to item 7A, and that would be our warrant report for May 28 to June 8, 2026, and fiscal year 2026 payroll expenditures to date. Is there a motion to approve the warrants report?
Motion to approve.
Second, thank you. And that would be specifically for expenditures of village funds for payments of invoices in the amount of $221,993.67 for May 28 to June 6, 2026. Do we have any questions to Drew and Bettina on this report?
I had one question about the Impact Solutions charge of $10,300. Is that, it said recruitment, is that for recruitment, or what was that?
That's the MGT.
Which one? I
impact.
couldn't hear from
The
back.
10,000 MGT.
Oh,
That was the assessment
the
center.
assessment center, yeah.
So the village, for Max, sitting in the audience, our new assistant too. The village has historically, for department heads or higher level positions in the village, run assessment centers. And we bring in professionals to simulate probably worst day of their lives at work. It's one part element of it. There's an in-basket exercise. There is a formal panel interview. There's a writing competency and presentation element to that. And we have city managers, retired or current, sit on that panel and give advice to me and the team and who we hire. But that's the cost for that HR firm to come in and help support that activity. So, I think it's served the village well over the years.
Yes.
I looked at the ledger also. I had one question, that is, there is a fee for $1691.50 that is for Mark and Donna Mancuso for driveway repair.
So the village several years ago discovered, this is off East Sheridan Place, where there was a, is it a water main or service, Jeff? The Mancuso, the shared driveway replacement, was it a abandoned water, improperly abandoned water main?
It was water service.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
I'll let Jeff admit it, yeah.
When they put the water main on East Sheridan Road, they put a stub out to that property, but there was also a water main in the back of that property. So they connected to the rear water main, and then eventually the stub out to their property leaked. And went down for, I don't know how long it leaked for, because until it kind of, I forget why we discovered it, this is a few years ago, but eventually we discovered it had been leaking for some time, and they had had some water issues both in their home and then some damage to their driveway, which could be connected to the leaking water service, which, like I said, we didn't even know existed.
So we worked with them to secure a release from the village for any other damage, and we paid for a third of the driveway replacement.
Cool, thank you. Any more questions to Drew, Bettina, and staff? I do not see more questions. Thank you, Bettina.
You're welcome.
It is a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Trustee Fried.
Aye.
Trustee Hatch.
Aye.
Trustee Renner.
Aye.
And Trustee El Shamaz.
Aye.
Thank you. Next is our village attorney's report.
No report tonight.
Thank you, Peter. I do not have a report either. Next item is item 11, the acceptance of a correspondence. Correspondence was delivered to the village board in the informational report on May 29 and June 5, 2026. Is there a motion to approve the correspondence?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Questions, discussions, concerns on the correspondence, if any? I do not see any. It is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. And we do not have an executive session tonight.
Regis, although it's not on the agenda,
Trustees report.
can we add it in?
I think so.
Was it not on there?
No,
My apologies.
I saw that too, and I should have hinted at that. So
Answer is
let's,
yes.
so let's pause a second before the missing item, before the next item 13 to have a trustees report. Do any trustees wish to make a report tonight?
Yes, I do. I have three small things I want to highlight. Firstly, today was Lake Bluff Public Schools' last day of school. I want to just take a minute to congratulate our students on an outstanding year. I want to thank our teachers, our administration, and staff for another safe and successful year of education in Lake Bluff. Secondly, I want to congratulate the Lake Bluff Softball Association on another great season. Tomorrow night, they are highlighting their championship playoff game between the Center Avenue Blaze and the Sheridan Road Sticks at the high school in the evening. So congratulations to them. Lastly, I have a prepared statement I'd like to read. I want to take a moment to recognize and celebrate one of Lake Bluff's own, Josie Irvin, who was recently named the Forest Scouts 2026 Person of the Year. While awards often recognize accomplishments, this honor speaks to something much deeper. It reflects the impact one person can have on an entire community through kindness, leadership, service, and the way they make others feel seen and valued. By all accounts, Josie has spent her high school years lifting up those around her, leading with humility, welcoming others, and making her school and community better because of her presence. Those qualities cannot be measured by grades, titles, or accolades alone. They are the qualities that define character. As a parent myself, community member, and resident of Lake Bluff, I am especially grateful when I see young people like Josie reminding us what leadership truly looks like. She represents the very best of our community and gives us all confidence in the future. As one of her friends put it, she somehow seems to truly do it all. I wonder where she learned that from. To Josie, her family, her teachers, her coaches, her mentors, her friends who helped shape her journey, congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. Josie, we are proud to call you one of our own, and we look forward to seeing all that you will accomplish in the years ahead. Thank you.
It's lovely.
Great job, thank you.
Yeah.
It's very kind of you, Rafi. Thank you so much.
Empty nesting. It's right around the corner.
Yes, yeah, very much so. So that's
Poor Jill. She has to hang out with you now.
all true. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
I'd like to make a trustees report as well. I'd like to just recognize that we've kicked off Pride Month, and I am really pleased to see our ordinance in process. The Village Green looks lovely, and I've been in touch with the folks who decorated and celebrated yesterday, and they are on it. They're, ready to follow the the guidelines that we as a board created for decoration and celebration on village property. So it's nice to see that, you know, where we've come a year later after last summer in our discussions. But I'd like to congratulate the group that put together a second year of lovely celebration, and I do think the decor looks quite nice.
Agree.
I agree too. And if we're speaking about people graduating high school, I would like to congratulate Trustee Fried
Yes.
for a child also leaving home, leaving high school, and so
Yes.
we are proud of you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
National Merit.
Yeah, this
National
kid's
Merit
quite smart
finalist,
too.
Illinois State Scholar. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
The next Charles Darwin, as I understand.
That's what you
I
said,
told him,
yeah.
I looked like, who are you? What are you?
Thank you.
Well, in other words, leg bluff rules. Thank you. Any more
That-
reports?
That is true. If you went to awards night, I was almost started to keep tabs. with all the kids.
6 out of 7.
See, there-
Really?
6 out of 7 were Lake Bluff kids.
We're producing such amazing children. And I'm not saying that as a joke. I just think the village, it's why we are here and why so many of us serve voluntarily, because
It is true.
this community is a beautiful place to raise kids, and their aptitude and self-motivation shows
Yeah.
that their roots show.
And
Yeah.
it shows that our children are showing up in the high school 1 year ahead of math. It makes a big difference.
Yes.
Seriously. And so this is our dedication, this is our volunteer work, this is the other boards in the village that are also doing a fine job. And so this is our village, this is what we're proud of, and this is what we work on every day. And so that's why we're sitting here tonight and every other night, every other month of the year, so.
Well, while we're at it, Kat has a incoming high schooler, so we can congratulate Kat for getting through 8th grade too. And that's right, yeah. And next year it'll be mine, so I'll eagerly await your congratulatory.
I'll get my speech ready.
Yes, please, yes.
All right, fine, any more trustees wishing to make a report on the board? All right, thank you, guys. And last, we do not have an executive session. And last is our adjournment. Could I please have a motion to adjourn tonight?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And we're adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Hey, Michael?
There you are, sir.